First of all, let us consider the learning outcomes. To understand the concept of new product development, to identify steps involved in developing a new product, to understand the meaning of consumer adoption process, to learn about various stages involved in the adoption process. What is a new product? According to Kotler, a new product means an original product, a product improvement, product modification, and new brands that the company creates through its own research and development efforts. Booz, Allen, and Hamilton have identified 6 categories of new products. The first category is new to the world product. New products that create an entirely new market like a Walkman, a tablet computer, a mobile phone, and so on are all products that belong to this category. The second category is a new product line. New products that allow a company to enter and establish a market for the first time, like dental care for toddlers. Additional existing product lines. New products that adjunct a company's confirmed product line, package sizes, flavors, and so on, like Maggi, have brought many changes in the texture and taste as well as packaging. Improvement and revisions of existing products. New products that provide refined interpretation or greater glimpsed value and substitute existing products are belonging to this category. This is most common with advancement in technological products and upgrading the products that give better experience to the consumer. Repositioning. Existing products that are targeted to new markets or new market segments are also new products. Tablets are being sold as education devices to students of all ages rather than a general multipurpose device. Cost reduction. This is also considered as a new product. This means when new products are developed with the help of processes that provide identical performance at lower cost, this is also considered as a new product. Why a new product? Every business needs to innovate to stay ahead in the process of competition. If a company does not develop new products, someone else, some other competitor would outbeat this company, and it would result in a loss of customers, and it may even lead to closure of the company. The consumers' needs are ever changing, so if the company offers new products, then these innovations would inevitably improve its own sales. Improvements, enhancements, technological upgradations in products and processes keep on happening every now and then. Hence, no business can continue to offer the same unchanged product, otherwise sales would decrease and so would profits. The reasons why developing new products becomes necessary. 1. The consumers' needs and wants change continuously, and the firms have to respond to these changes through their products and services. Otherwise, consumers will switch to competitors' products. Existing products of the company may reach the end of their product life cycle, so the company may introduce new and improved updated versions, as we see in the case of many detergents and soaps. The existing products of the company may be at the maturity stage where the sales have already reached the full potential and there is no further scope for growth, so it becomes necessary to introduce new products or make changes in the existing products so that the declining stage is pushed away. Environmental changes can force the company to introduce new products as a response to the changed environmental factors such as government regulations like ban on plastic bags, changes in the technology, for example, in the music space, the progression of technology has caused a shift from cassettes to downloading of e-music files. Competitors may force change in the product, for example, the technology market, where new products are constantly being introduced to target a market that welcomes change and innovation. What is new product development? According to Kotler, new product development means the development of original products, product improvement, product modification, and new brands through the firm's own product development effort. Steps for new product development. The logical process of systematically evolving new products follows the 8 steps explained. Although this process would work for most industries, it may be less effective in developing radically new products. The onus is on the marketeer to exercise caution while eliminating the results of the process. Step 1. Idea generation. New product ideas can come from any source to the company. The process of developing a new product, however, requires those ideas to be evaluated very systematically. The ideas can come from internal sources, that is, sources in the company like its own R&D wing, internal business development team. The ideas also come from external sources as explained through the exhibit below. Many market research techniques are used to encourage ideas, including running focus groups with consumers, channel members, and the company's sales force, encouraging customer comments and suggestions via toll-free telephone numbers and website forms, and gaining insights on the competitive product development through secondary data sources. One important research technique used to generate ideas is brainstorming, where open-minded, creative thinkers from inside and outside the company gather and share ideas. The dynamic nature of the group members floating ideas, where one idea can often spark another idea, could yield a wide range of possible products that can be further pursued. Internal sources. Customers. The company can have a direct feedback and also knowledge about the customer's changed preferences and needs. Formal research and development efforts. Research and engineering department in many companies may formally set up a department of this kind. Management of the company, that is, ideas could flow from the top management as well. The sales force, as they are constantly dealing with the actual customers and give direct feedback on product improvement, enhancement, and customer preferences, are an internal source. Employee suggestions. Executives, developers, staff, salespeople, top management, that is, anyone in the company who has suggestions to offer. Innovation groups. which work constantly to nurture innovative ideas, and stakeholders of the company are all internal sources. External sources, competitors of the company, are the biggest external source because they are already in the market and offer great products. Companies have to be aware of the products in the market and constantly evaluate ideas of the products that are placed in the market by their competitors. Distribution channels, the distributors are an important link between the customer and the company. They know that the exact market situation is one of the company and its competitor. Hence, they have many important ideas and suggestions to give to the company. Consultants may be formally hired by the company to have a steady supply of ideas. They are engaged when the company wants somebody to look up the external environment for them. Academic journals, they provide the latest research with facts and they are tested in the market. They can also act as a guide for the future course of action in a company. Periodicals, magazines and other media could also provide new ideas. Government agencies, they formulate the rules and policies. For example, with a recent change in the Indian political scenario, the new government is making pro-development policies. This would lead to a change in the marketplace as new policies would be framed and the change would work towards the creation of new products as well. Commercial laboratories are also an external source where the individual labs are constantly researching into new ideas from which these ideas can be picked up, of course, for a fees. Inventors, they come up with fresh ideas and then innovate, in which sometimes the companies could be partners and the companies could purchase these new innovations for further commercial development. Idea screening. The first step generates many ideas and this number is reduced as in the second step to find out which is the most appealing option. An idea's potential is evaluated in terms of sales, production, cost, profit, potential and the competitor's response to the product if it is introduced in the market, the acceptability of ideas which are on the move. Concept development and testing. Defining a new product concept and testing it with the target market helps the organization to determine whether the new product idea will be successful or not. The concept development and testing stage of the new product development can be time intensive, but it will help the organization to avoid unnecessary costs later on by ensuring that only the best product concepts are pursued in the target market. A product concept is a detailed description of the idea from the perspective of the prospective customer, taking the potential customer's viewpoint while describing the product concept, and will help the company to test and evaluate how responsive the target market will be to its product. In the process, the company has to ensure that the idea can be designed, manufactured and delivered within its financial resources and time constraints. By taking the idea to the target audience, the company can now know what they think and where there are any gaps that might be left. Market researchers could be involved to run the focus group surveys and discussions to determine how customers would respond to the product. For this, the company has to detail the customer targets very accurately. The idea has to be screened for intellectual property right issues and legal issues. It is necessary that the product concept is defined clearly without any assumptions and be tested with the target audience, as it will save the future losses or the potential for future losses of the company. The fourth step is marketing strategy and development. In this stage, we deal with the formulating the strategy for initial offering to the market. The information gathered helps to identify which market segment to target on and how. The company needs to focus on its resources and on the target market. For that, it must know the market potential, its structure and behavior. Accordingly, the positioning needs to be planned and the sales and profit goals are thus set for the introductory stage of the product life cycle. Positioning involves setting the price and the distribution strategy for the product as well. So, the company has to evolve its marketing strategy plan, which clearly describes the long run sales and the profit goals. The fifth step is business analysis. The purpose of developing a new product is to attain business objectives. After an idea is screened and it goes through the previous steps, then it is analyzed for the business potential. The cost associated with sales projections, profit margins, all are analyzed vis-a-vis the company's objectives. If the new product idea shows potential for fitting into the company's objectives, then it is further recommended for product development. Otherwise, the necessary changes are made or the idea is dropped altogether. Product development, the sixth phase. In this stage, the idea passing through the previous stages are further developed and the prototype is created, which is presented to the target customer for feedback. The customer can feel the real product in this stage, and so the other aspects of marketing mix, advertising, pricing, distribution, etc. can be evaluated through the inputs provided. The gap and the shortcoming that come forward can be taken care in the manufacturing, and the product can be developed further. Once these changes are made, the marketer may again have the customers test the product. In addition to gaining customers' feedback, this step is used to gauge the feasibility of this step and to induct large scale and cost effective production for manufactured products. Step 7, test marketing. Before launching the product in the market, it is a good and safe idea to test in a small part of the target market the new product. The most common type of market testing makes the product available to a select small segment of the target market, maybe one locality or one city, depending upon the scale of the marketing. The management selects a part of the target market to test the product in the actual market. Full promotion activities are done in that selected market to test the response for the product in an actual market condition. Another form of market testing is found with the consumer products even more controlled, with customers recruited to the laboratory stores where they are given shopping instructions. Product interest can then be measured based on the customer's shopping response. Finally, there are several high-tech approaches for market testing, including virtual reality and the computer simulations. With virtual reality testing, customers are exposed to computer projected environment such as a store and are asked to locate the selected product. With computer simulations, customers may not be directly involved at all. Instead, certain variables are entered into a sophisticated computer program and estimates of the target market's responses are calculated. The last step, the 8th step, is commercialization. When the company is completely satisfied with the earlier 7 steps, then the response of the product in the test marketing phase determines whether the product is capable of commercialization or not. This basically means that if the product is ready for launch in the entire target market or not. This decision involves taking care of production of the product till its distribution, including its marketing and promotion in the entire target market. The company has to plan its resources and efforts towards this direction. Consumer adoption process, diffusion of the innovation process. The adoption process is also known as diffusion of innovation. It tries to explain how the consumer would behave as they purchase new products and services. It is useful for the management if it is known that this behavior to achieve success with the new product is likely to happen. The adoption process is a set of consumer decisions or an individual person or organization which makes before accepting the innovation. Diffusion of a new product is the process by which an innovation spreads throughout the social system over time. The stages in consumer adoption. A prospective buyer typically goes through the following phases in adoption process: awareness, interest, evaluation, trial, adoption and internalization. First, awareness. The consumer becomes aware that a new product exists but is unsure about its information. Interest. The consumer becomes interested in knowing more about the product and seeks information. Evaluation. The consumer evaluates if he would like to try the product. Trial. The consumer makes the decision to try the product, to experience it and to judge its value. Adoption. The consumer becomes fully convinced about the benefits of the product and starts using it fully. When a company produces a product or a service and announces it to the market, at that point the consumer adoption process begins. This is where the consumer decides to become a new customer and purchase or reject the product. Another stage commonly not identified in the market is the research in the internalization stage. The first stage, awareness, is most important and is also where the marketeers put in a lot of effort and money. If consumers are not aware of the product or service and that it exists, how would the company expect the consumers to buy it? Advertising the product to the consumer is a hard work, and to make them sure about the correct image that is developed and the product that is desired in the minds of the consumer is very important. Examples of advertising may include media or print advertisements. The second stage is interest. This stage is when the consumer becomes aware of the product and searches for information. A popular method of searching for information is the internet. A company's website tells the potential customers what the product looks like, the specification, its price, ways to purchase it, and much more, as would be the case with automobiles. Technology has played a big role in today's websites advertising, guaranteeing interactive information and data collection. Next are the stages of evaluation and trial, where the customer thinks if this product or service is good, and more importantly how this product can be beneficial to the customer. When the consumer believes the product is good and it can be benefit them, then deciding to buy it would really result in an actual purchase decision. The consumer decides if it suits their needs or wants. To entice the consumer, sometimes marketeers will provide samples of trials of their products. They give the consumer a taste of what the product really looks or feels like. It also coupons to introductory sales offers, lower prices are all ways of motivating the consumer. Finally, the adoption stage occurs. The business dictionary best describes this stage by explaining it as the customer moves from a cognitive state, that is of being aware and informed, to an emotional state linking it to his or her preferences, and finally to the behavioral or the cognitive state deciding to purchase it. The stage commonly left out of the consumer's adoption process is the internalization, as it is a long-term stage. This is similar to the customer becoming loyal to a brand. Brand loyalty is what comes in the long run. Internalization is where the beliefs and attitudes of the consumer are changed. At this stage is the long-run stage for every marketer and company. Internalization of a consumer is changing buying habits or the behavior to purchase their product or service only. At this stage, the protocol at the beginning of every new product or service but are routinely followed when a consumer is shopping. The product may not be new to the market but is new to them. This is why continuous advertising is necessary and why marketers need to constantly keep making consumer aware of what they have to offer. Diffusion of innovation process. A consumer will differ in his eagerness to adopt a new product rather than another one. This behavior is categorized into the following: innovation adopter category, based on when the life of a product is determined, the individuals will adopt the innovation. If the total population of all consumers who adopt a given product is divided into 5 basic categories, and which is shown, we get a curve which is similar to a bell curve. The first initial portion of the bell curve given in yellow is that of innovators, which constitutes 2.5% of the total. 13.5% given in orange are the early adopters. The early majority, which is 34%, is given in purple. The late majority, which is again 34%, is given in blue. And finally, we have the laggards, who form 16%, given in green and is the right tail. They come last of all. So, we have seen how a bell curve can clearly describe the different categories as has been mentioned. There are different stages at which these various categories adopt the product, and therefore we have different responses by these different categories. The adopters may vary across product types as well. The adopter category, as we have explained, are based on theory and research derived from the work of other areas, that is of social scientists. Although these categories are in general described, they describe the nature of how innovation diffuses through the population, it is necessary to recognize that there are many anomalies in this generalization. It is extremely predictable that when new products come, it is important to examine the dispersal of new products. The membership of each of the adopter categories will differ from one type of product to another. Innovators and early adopters for one product may be the section of a huge market, even where laggards, for example, may be for another product category. For example, innovators and early adopters for computer hardware and software may be laggards for non-adopters of designer, fashion and clothing and jewelry. Now, let us summarize what all we have studied. In this module, we have learned the following concepts. The consumer's needs are ever changing, and so is the offering by the sellers. Thus, there is a need to constantly adapt the products and create new products that do not exist. New product development means the development of original products, product improvement, product modification, and new brands through a firm's own product development effort. New product is developed by the following steps: idea generation, idea screening, concept development and testing, marketing strategy development, business analysis, product development and market testing. The adoption is a set of successive decisions and individuals or the organizations make before accepting an innovation. Diffusion of a new product is a process by which an innovation spreads throughout the social system over a period of time. A consumer passes through these stages while adopting a new product: awareness, interest, evaluation, trial and adoption.